Most people think investing starts once you have enough money, enough to make it worth it, enough to matter, enough to feel serious. Until then, they wait. They tell themselves they're still preparing, still learning, still watching. But what they're really doing is staying still. Starting small feels wrong, not risky, just pointless. Because it doesn't look like progress. It doesn't feel like momentum. It doesn't change your life in any visible way. And when you look around, everything you see makes that feeling stronger. Finished portfolios, smooth charts, people who seem far ahead. You don't see how they started. You only see where they are. So your own beginning feels insignificant, like it doesn't count, like it doesn't deserve attention. But that feeling is misleading. You don't need a big portfolio, you need a first step. Because the problem isn't that the beginning is small. The problem is what we expect the beginning to feel like. Think about learning anything new. The first time you drive, you don't feel smooth. Your hands are tense. Every movement is conscious. You're not enjoying the drive. You check the mirrors too often. Or not at all. You hesitate between the pedals. Sometimes you press the wrong one. Brake, clutch, gas. You're just trying not to stall. And no one expects the first driving lesson to feel like a road trip. And if you don't drive or don't relate to that example, think about training. The first time you work out, you don't feel strong. Your body doesn't respond yet. Movements feel awkward. You focus on form, not results. Sometimes you don't even understand how the machine works. You're not sure how to adjust the treadmill, which part you're supposed to hold, where to place your feet, how to sit down properly. You look around, you copy others, you feel unsure. You're not building strength, you're building familiarity. And no one expects the first workout to look impressive. And this applies more generally to learning any skill. The first time you try, you don't feel capable. You hesitate. You overthink. You move slowly. You're not producing anything useful yet. You're learning how it feels to do the thing at all. And in all of these cases, that feeling is considered normal. We don't question it. We don't panic. We don't assume something is wrong. In fact, we'd be suspicious if it felt easy right away. And this is the part we often miss. In all of these situations, the beginning doesn't move much, but it connects something, like a small gear engaging for the first time. On its own, it looks insignificant, but once it turns, it starts moving a larger gear. And that one sets an even larger one in motion. Not all at once, not dramatically, but enough for the system to no longer be still. This is why small steps matter. Not because they look impressive, but because they change the state from standing still to being in motion. And that's the shift everything else depends on. With money, the first step doesn't grow your portfolio. It changes your relationship with it. It turns something theoretical into something real, something you interact with, something you stay with. That's also why the beginning often feels underwhelming. You're not seeing results yet. You're building tolerance for uncertainty, for boredom, for letting things run. That's not exciting, but it's essential. And this is usually where the doubt shows up. You start small. You stay consistent. And for a while, nothing seems to happen. No visible progress, no confirmation, no moment that tells you this is working. And that's when the thought appears. What if I started and nothing happens? But that thought doesn't mean the step was wrong. It means you expected feedback too early. Because beginnings don't give rewards. They build tolerance. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting for a feeling that only comes after you start. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from repetition, from staying, from watching yourself not quit. And that's uncomfortable, because there's no applause, no signal, no clear moment of success, just the quiet act of doing the same small thing again and again. Because long-term investing doesn't reward intensity. It rewards continuity, and continuity only becomes possible once the system is moving at all. That's why waiting feels safe, but costs more than starting small. Waiting keeps everything frozen. Starting, even with very little, creates direction, and direction creates options. Over time, those options compound, not because the first step was big, but because it allowed everything else to follow. You don't need a big portfolio, you need a first step. You're not late, you're just at the beginning. If this helped you think more clearly about investing, that's all this channel is trying to do. No hype, no shortcuts, just ideas that hold up over time. If you found this useful, feel free to leave a like. And if you want more of this kind of thinking, you can subscribe. Let's see what compounds faster, the portfolio or the channel. See you in the next one.